Hello. Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Alright, hello everyone. I'm just going to be working on this dragon puppet, continuing it. I know I started it in this group a little bit ago, like a week ago or so. I did a live stream, I think 2 days ago, of cutting out this pattern on my main page. I just figured out how to go live in this channel, in this group again, using my new encoder. Let me know how the sound is. Let me know if it starts cycling the sound again. I know how to at least fix it, and I'm monitoring your comments this time to figure out how to do it. Today I'm going to be putting together this dragon, at least the pieces of this pattern, to make sure it's the right size and everything like that. And then from there, I'll assess what needs to be done. I have a couple different blades today for cutting the foam. I'm using L200 foam. That's this white foam here. I have an X-Acto blade that I'm going to be using for some of it. I have this utility knife, this is the brand I recommend the highest. It's what is it, Olaf, something like that. OLFA. And what's nice about this is most other box cutters, you push it up and there's a little slide back thing, and they're janky. This one has this tightening wheel, which makes it so it won't slip at all. And it's one-handed too. If you want to do it one-handed, you can do all that. Highly recommend it. But for like fine cutting, this is the best to use at all. This is the Persona single blades. Okay, I've got tons of these that I've. Actually, I had it in my Amazon cart as a bi-monthly shipment, and it just sent me a new whole big box of them every 2 months, or maybe I did it quarterly. And then they got rid of that product as a bundle, so they stopped sending it, but I still have boxes of it from when I stocked up, so I'm personally in good shape for those. But highly recommend those as well. Now, I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm gonna trace out all these pieces, cut them out. I'll probably trace and cut, which isn't how I normally work, but I think it'll be better for the video, and also it'll just make it a little bit more interesting. I'll be looking at comments. If you have any questions about anything, I'll be talking a little bit. You notice I have an earbud in because I'm going to be. I usually listen to music or something while I'm working. I don't want it to cloud up this feed with the background sound, so that shouldn't be as bad. I'm actually listening to the biography of Jim Henson by Jay Jones. I've actually already read it before, but it's been a while, so I'm refreshing myself on it. It's a good listen. I highly recommend the book. But I'll be doing that, and we'll just get right into it. I'm going to be using Sharpie to trace it, because again, in the video I know it shows up best. It's not best practice for doing puppets. I actually recommend using a highlighter. It's a little less harsh, and it works out really well. And then if you're painting the foam, you have to really sand the Sharpie off, and it gets deep in there, whereas the Sharpie, it doesn't bleed through the paint as well. So I would recommend that. So anyway, I'm going to get into it. One thing that's cool, I don't know if anyone else happens to live in the proximity of Buffalo area or Western New York area or Ontario, but there is a really cool event at the end of this month, July 30th. Frank Oz is actually coming to Chautauqua Institute, which is about an hour and a half from where I am, south from where I am, kind of getting close to is it closer to Erie? It's not that close to Erie, but that just came up. Someone just told me about that. I was like, oh my gosh. So we got tickets to see that, which I'm quite excited about. Looks like this has shifted a little bit on me, but it should be okay. So if you're somewhat in the area, definitely check that out, because tickets are like, I think they're $40, so that's not so bad. I'm just gonna, that's the neckline, the darts. Okay, so actually I'm gonna put this pattern, I think I'm gonna trace out more before I'm gonna trace out all the patterns one way, cut them out, and then flip the patterns to do it the other way. I think that'll be an efficient way to lay this all out. Hello, Adam. Lining up all my registration marks. Surprised they don't have any on the bottom of this. That was probably an oversight. Can everybody hear everything well? How's the sound? How does the sound sound? So this is the middle of the back. There we go. We are cruising. That'll be a little easier. These are where the spikes go, just notching those out. This is the middle of the head, and actually I'm going to do this one on the fold here. Okay. Now this is, I'll do the smaller pieces first actually. Okay. Get this piece. Okay. Whatever that is. Now sometimes, depending on what your design is, you have to cut things out at an angle. As of now, I don't have, maybe around essentially the beak of the mouth, I may have to do a little bit of fancy cutting at different angles. But to start it off, I'm going to cut it out straight because I can always bevel it later. I think that should work out nicely. I'm going to use a highlighter to mark this as 2. How does that show up? Yeah, that doesn't even show up for you guys. It's okay. Whoops. Worth the 3 anyway. It's okay. Okay, now we just gotta do this. Thank you, Adam, for letting me know about that. Here we go. There we go. Now the last big traced piece. Alrighty. Is this big guy here. Let me find the best way to arrange this. Let me see. Probably like that. Oh, that's not the last piece. I got one more. Okay, that's all right. Let me do that. Okay. I'm thinking about having a digital diaper party. I think I've made up that term, but I'm sure someone's done it. I want to do it on YouTube and have a live stream where I make some sort of baby puppet, and for people who are willing and able, can click on a link to have diapers sent to my house. What do you guys think about that? Is that ridiculous, or something you'd like to see? I was thinking about making like some sort of a baby bird type puppet, like a little baby mech puppet. Let me know if that's something you think would be fun. But there we go. We got that going. Oh, we got John Jennings on. You guys got to make sure you check out John Jennings' all of his channels. I think particularly his main jam is his Twitch channel, and he's got some awesome shows and puppet related stuff that he does. He's been helping me out with my setup too. I've been having quite a bit of headaches trying to get my streaming stuff. It was so weird because the first time I started streaming, everything was perfect, and then I don't know what happened, but like I was never able to get my settings right again. So John's been helping me out big time, trying to streamline stuff. I think I'm finally at a point where things are okay. Though my next big upgrade I would do is hopefully getting a shotgun mic for it. Unless you guys think this sound is okay, let me know. Because the one I'm looking at is really expensive and I really can't afford it. Especially with the baby coming. And I just had a guy come to look at, we're getting a new fence in the backyard. It's going to be a ton of money too. Okay, well there we have that. So now I'm going to cut all this out. Yeah, but John Jennings' show is, I think he does a whole bunch of like segments and stuff, some puppet related stuff. I think he does some tutorial based stuff. But he's got this really cool show with this little hand puppet that he does. And it's just so cool. I love the way he interacts with the audience live. These are live shows as well, guys. So definitely be sure to check that out. It's really compelling stuff. Really compelling stuff. I'm quite a fan of it. I'm blanking out at what John, if you're still there, what's the character's name? If you're still there, John, you can just put it in the comments. I'm blanking out on what his name is. He's that little red puppet with the horns. Really cool. Alrighty. That's not pretty, that cut there. It's alright. Well, this is kind of dull. Let me get one of my other ones. There we go. That should be much nicer. Oh, yeah, like butter. Okay. We almost have that first piece out. Now, I might dice this up once it's put together a little bit, because of the pattern, I'm just cutting it out as is. But there's a good chance this whole tail, once it's put together, I might just hack it off and remake it out of a softer foam that'll have a little bit more bounce. Same thing with the neck. That's why this piece is here. I may end up needing more movement in the neck. But again, that's something, it's so easy to just cut things off. It's pretty easy to glue things back on too, but it's nice that it'll be a nice smooth transition as of now. But because you'd think you definitely want a real movable neck, but knowing how this is gonna be used, it might be handy to also just have the neck a little bit stiffer. Someone asked if this is live on Instagram and YouTube also. I hope not. I only clicked for it to be live here, so if it is, let me know, because I guess that's fine if it is, but I wasn't hoping to go public with this video on YouTube until after everything's done. I was going to edit it all together for one video. This is the top of the skull, this piece here. There we go, 2 down. Okay. I think I'm just gonna cut all this off as one smaller piece because I'm really wrestling this humongous thing. Ah, much better. Okay. Okay, so really excited to glue all this together, see how it's starting to come out. This is that beak part that I had mentioned. I might end up angling parts of it. I'm going to put a very slight bevel there on cutting it out. Tipsy Roo is John Jennings' channel name. I should have mentioned that earlier. If you do check out his stuff, Tipsy Roo. Again, awesome content he's creating there on Twitch. I believe he has a YouTube channel too, where he puts some of his streams there. He's very active on Twitter as well. I'm surprised I had no notches on that side. I'm excited. I really hope this comes out to be the right size. I did the math, and the math doesn't work out completely perfectly how you'd expect because you have to compensate for the thickness of the foam, which changes what you would think it would come out to. So you usually have to end up making things smaller than you expect. If this was paper thin, then the math should work out correctly. But again, the thickness of the foam makes it so it doesn't quite scale up the same. So if this was a sheet of paper, the center of the foam is really actually the where that line would be changes on how it's bent. Okay, generally it's the center of the foam, but if you have like an S-shaped bend in something, it's so strange. It's crazy math stuff that I don't even know. I'm just aware of that it happens. I'm going to slightly bevel this as well, because I know that's going to be a tough glue angle. I'm going to bevel this out as well. Down to these 2 spots. Okay. Now the belly of the beast. Let me switch to the... Where did I put those blades? Remember I showed you those Persona blades a minute ago? Jeez, where the heck did I... Well, luckily I have a ton of them. So all... Oh, it fell on the floor. Okay. All those sides are cut out. Now I have to trace all the pieces again, but on the back. So I'm probably going to lose like all the viewers now. So everything you just saw, I'm doing again. How exciting. And now I have to flip it over. Make sure you always remember to flip it over. Okay, I'm gonna try to be very... Oh, I gotta transfer over my notches too. Actually, I have my notch thing. Go. Go. Now I want to make sure that I know that this is the one side. So I'm going to put a little green dot on all of these pieces so I don't get them mixed up with the other side. And that pattern piece is done, so I'll put that over there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm cutting these ones out as I go, for now at least, because I'm using scrap edges. Okay. Done with that pattern piece. Oh no. When I traced that, which way did I trace it? The white side or the... I don't remember. Yep. Whoops, I didn't flip it. Did I flip that one too? Did I do it wrong again? Oh my gosh. Well, this one I can still salvage. I forgot to flip the pattern. What a dummy. What a dummy. These are the mistakes you don't want to make. I'm just glad that I caught that mistake, so I gotta make sure I don't use this piece. Okay. Looks like I can transfer the darts. What a dummy. Guys, you guys are watching me. You're supposed to watch for these kind of mistakes for me so I don't have to make them. Huh? I'm kidding. Half kidding. If you did, I'd be grateful. Okay, there we go. So now I have to retrace this one. What a pain. I even hit the darts on that too. Tom asked why I'm using L200 versus reticulated. I tend to use L200 for bodies more so anyway because they have more structure. Then you don't have to put... A lot of people use L200 or other reticulated foam for the bodies, and then they have to still put some boning in and stuff like that. If you use the L200, as long as you use it well, you don't really need to do that, and it's not going to break down the same way. It'll last longer. I usually use L200 completely for any fur-covered characters. And I usually don't recommend it for fleece-covered characters. And this is a fleece-covered character, but I'm doing some other special trickery that'll still make this easier to cover. I'm planning on doing a thin layer of batting to give it a little bit of a softness. At least I'm hoping to. I'm planning to. I don't know if that's going to end up working the way I want, but I'm going to test it out. That's what I like about this build, is I'm testing out some techniques that are new to me. I shouldn't even say testing techniques. I'm inventing some techniques. Not like earth-shattering inventing. Oh my gosh, so epic. No, not like that kind of a crazy inventions, but just trying to try some different stuff that'll give me the look that I want. So... There we go. Okay, put that on there. Okay, let me do the belly of the beast, part 2. Yeah, someone asked if this puppet's going to be for sale. Was it Melissa did? No, this is not a puppet for sale. I'm working on a separate project with my buddy Daniel Becker. This is for him. It's going to be pretty cool, though. I have some ideas to do some in the very near future for will be available to the public. So coming soon. John Little's in the house. Make sure you guys check out John Little's stuff. He's got some awesome projects. He's been posting some pictures of a really cool project he's been doing recently of this panda bear that just looks awesome. It's really coming out super nice. Did you finish that, John? If you're still there, you can reply in the comments there. But really, probably one of my favorite things I've seen of John's, though I liked all John's stuff, of course. Make sure you check out the podcast we did on John back in May, I think it was, on Puppeteers. It's doing some cool stuff. There we go. You mark up this belly with the green. The reverse side of the top of the head. someone was asking if I can share the template as a photo. Definitely not going to be doing that, at least not yet, because I just made this pattern and I don't even know if it's going to go together evenly perfectly. So I would definitely want to test it, because I did that once, put out, let someone borrow use a pattern that I didn't fully use yet, and they spammed me with questions on how everything goes together, and I don't have time to handhold everything for people. So if I ever release this as a pattern, I would be probably doing a whole video with it and making it downloadable on my website. To make it easier for everybody, for me and for people who want to use it. But again, either way, in the process of putting it together, I make tweaks to things. So there we go. Getting close to the end. We can start gluing it all together, the exciting part. It's not that much more exciting, but it is slightly more exciting. Do all these neck pieces and then the big side piece. Yep, it's a big sheet of foam. It's L200. Some people use EVA foam as well. I actually prefer that, but it's a little harder to... I shouldn't say it's harder to get. I'm able to get this foam locally, so I like it a lot. Handy. Oh, I'm getting really excited now. I know we're going to be gluing it together soon, so that is exciting. What are we doing on time? Oh, good. It's only 2:30 still. So it's like an hour and a half till my wife gets home. Did I already cut this one on? Yeah, I did. Hey, Robbie. Thanks for popping in, man. Now here it is, the final piece to cut out. I think it is. Should be. Let me just these notches in. Hold on. Where would it go? Slid out of place. Okay. There we go. Okay. Just cut this, do a rough cut quick. Ouch. Okay. Sitting in that position for too long. Okay. Alrighty, I think, let me just double check that we have all the pieces we need. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces there, and over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we have this piece that's part of both of them. So I'm missing one piece. What is that piece? So we both have these. We both have these. Both have these. Oh, that piece. Yes, yes, yes. I think this is the piece that I still need. Got those. Got those. Yep, I already put that aside. Belly. Okay. So just that piece. Where did I put the pattern piece for that one? Oh, there it is. That's what happened. Okay, so we do have just one more little piece to cut out. Then we're going on to the exciting gluing. It's going to be great. Yes, James, you're correct. There's something very satisfying about using a nice sharp knife. And there's nothing sharper and better than those Persona blades. Highly recommend them. You will use one of those and you will be like, oh my gosh. There's nothing better in life. Okay. Just back that off so it's not tethered. Okay, now we officially have all of our pieces glued. Let me just, I think I'm going to also go live on Instagram for this part of the building, because why not? I've been unfortunately neglecting my Instagram for a while. So this should let my see people some notifications quick. Hold on, let me just do that. Okay. Okay. Let's see if that'll work. They've been neglected lately. And then we'll start cutting up. Oh, geez, come on. Which account am I in? Am I in the Puppeteers account? Or the... Yeah, I'm in my account. Okay. So, home. There we go. Live. Okay. Whew. We're about to go live on Instagram too. This is exciting. Whoop. Let me switch cameras for you guys. Oh, I need, before we go live, I need my glue out. We'll turn on the, actually we'll do that in a minute. We'll do that live for people to watch. Live in 2 places at once. Here we go. Hello everyone on Instagram. We are also live right now in the Krutinger Puppet tutorial Q&A group. We just got done tracing out all these pattern pieces for this dragon that I'm working on, and we're going to be gluing them together right now. So that's what you're going to be seeing as well right here, as well as our people at the Facebook group. It's not on my Facebook page, Krutinger Puppets. It's in the Facebook group, Krutinger Puppets Tutorial Q&A. I do a bunch of private live streams in that group as well for projects that I'm working on my table that aren't necessarily totally public always. But sometimes there's parts of it that I can show here, so I'm doing that. We're going to be gluing this puppet together. There's about 9 pieces on each half, so about 18 pieces total. And we're going to start gluing it together now. First, I have to get my ventilation on, because with this glue, this is a contact cement. A lot of puppeteers use barge, but this is called master. This is something I can get locally, and personally, I like it a little bit more than barge. Seems to cure a little faster, I think. So, hey Google, turn on shop vent.
Sure, turning on the shop vent.
All right, so my ventilation just turned on. Let's get gluing, okay? Let me put down some paper so I don't glue up my table. Audio must be great on this. Pulling up this paper right in front of you guys. Let me just, so I'm not fighting it anymore. I'll trim this paper there. Perfect. Oh, so much better. I feel so much better than before. Name that musical if you know it. If you know it, shame on you. Alrighty here. So this is the belly of the beast here, okay? Normally I wouldn't do all this many of these types of darts, but they're actually acting as 2 things. They're acting not only as darts to pull it in and round it out, but also they're registration marks, because this character has these, a ribbed belly, so it shows me exactly how big, and where each rib needs to be without me having to measure it out later. It'll be perfectly proportionate. So sometimes when you're designing a pattern, people always ask, where do these lines go? Where do these lines go? And it's different for different shapes and what you're really trying to do. And whether it's a foam pattern or a fabric pattern, those are all different aspects of this. So, again, without any further ado, let me start gluing up this. This is all going to be covered, so I'm not. So it's you know, if I get a little bit of drip over, I'm not too worried about that. I just really more so want to make sure I get into all these little cracks, because right into the knuckle of these joints, it can take a little longer to dry because there's just less space to get in. So I'm going to get in there first, and then I'll do the outside edges. Okay, there we go. Oh, Legally Blonde, somebody got it. Jesse. Oh, nice, good. Yes, Legally Blonde. I was in that show a couple of years ago. I played Elle's dad. Oh my gosh, I was terrible. I don't know why. It was not the right part for me. Oh, but I also played the boyfriend, Dewey. That was a good role for me. That was a really fun part to play. That show is underrated as having some really great music. However, there's 2 numbers in that show that if they were just gone, the show would be 10 times better, I think. And that is the Ireland song. Sorry, nothing against Ireland. I like Ireland. I just do not like that song. And that like song where she's in the marching band outfit. How is this for personal? Was it that one? Maybe it's not that one. But whatever one that she's dressed up as like the marching band person, that number is just terrible. Other than that, every other song, Chip on My Shoulder, oh, what a good song. Okay, Blood in the Water, Woods Comma L, all that stuff. So good, so good. They're actually doing it again locally because, oh my gosh, how long ago was that? Probably about 8 years ago that I was in that. Okay, so we got all those glued there. Needs a little more time before I put it together. I'm going to do the tops of this belly as well. See how the Facebook comments are doing. There's some of those. Alright. So anyone who's just joining, we are gluing this dragon together. Just starting. Got the shop vent on, so don't worry. The fumes are being sucked straight outside. Just set up my new ventilation system, which is awesome. And I have it voice controlled, which is even more awesome. So I can turn it off and on from sitting right here. Actually, I have like my whole studio kind of voice controlled now, which is just like, if you can do that, oh my gosh, it makes things so easy. So I can say, hey Google, turn on shop lights.
Sure, turning the shop lights on.
So you got a little brighter because those are my overhead fluorescents. It's probably too bright in here now though. Yeah, it's blowing it out there on the Facebook camera. We are live in the Facebook, but hey Google, turn off shop lights.
Okay, turning off the shop lights.
Okay. So we are live also on the Facebook group, not the Facebook page, Facebook group, Curtain Your Puppet Tutorial Q&A. That's a little private group where we have a bunch of tips and stuff like that. Nice little community of people helping each other out. And specifically for questions to the tutorial and things like that. But I often do private live streams there, and we've been live there for the past hour or so. We started this build there. Okay. Get that out there. Okay. Oh yeah, it's getting tacky. Just about ready to start gluing together. I'm gonna get my heat gun too, just to help speed some things up. You could also use a hairdryer. Hairdryer is actually probably better to use, but I like this because it's cordless. So much more convenient. You just can't hold it in one spot too long because it will burn a hole straight into whatever you're doing, which is not good in most cases. There we go. All right. Now let's start, and I'm going to switch the camera for the people on Facebook to the down-facing camera. There we go. There we go. Really lining these up. Again, if you're joining us later, I don't normally do this many darts in a spot like this, especially for a foam pattern. Nothing wrong with it though. But these are also acting as registration marks for the ribs of this character, so I don't have to measure it out afterward. Just makes it... I was trying to be kind to my future self. I always think as I'm building, okay, so what can I do to make this easier for covering? What can I do to make this easier for, different aspects of the build? So, always be kind to your future self. Okay, that's looking good. Now we're good there. Let me just hit this a little more. This edge. Okay. Sorry, crack my bad. All right, now let's start lining up these registration marks. Whoops. Each one of these darts acts as one too, making sure those are all lined up perfectly. Just doing a real light fit at first. Make sure it's even. Oh, this is looking nice already. I'm really liking that shape. We just got started. Okay, there we go. Okay. There we go. We have a nice little belly here. Oh my god, I wouldn't say it's a little belly. It's amazing how much, a lot of times when I was trying to get the scale right of puppets, I'd look at photos and do things to try to figure out the length of something, especially like a character's eyes. Like what's the standard? So I'd look at some, back behind the scenes photos of, actors holding their puppets. And one thing that's kind of a standard size is the width of glasses. So someone who was wearing glasses, I, get the scale of what the puppet's size should be. But one thing that had thrown me off, I had found out years ago now, like 7, 8 years ago, all my puppets were a little bit too big. My scale was off, even though I was trying to be very precise in measuring them. The reason for that is the depth perception, which I thought I was taking that into account. But it is unbelievable how just 3 inches can throw off the scale. Like look at this, like being right next to my head versus that's only like 4 inches forward, but the scale is absolutely in a photo like bizarrely. Look how huge that looks, and that's not that far in front of me. I'm just going from here to here, a couple inches, but on the camera, man, what a difference that makes. So I had found out all of my estimations, and I'd take that and I'd round it, because usually it'd be a round number, because most eyes that you'll see are like 1.5 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, things like that. So I'd also round to the nearest half inch for certain things. So some little tips. Anyway, why am I talking about this? Let me go on to putting this together. So we have that piece. I have to remember how this goes together. It's been a while since I made that part of the pattern. Let's do, okay, this is the side of the body. So we're going to do this seam here, and then we're going to start to do the back tail going to this, which is going to be an interesting, it's going to really start bending these shapes in a weird way. I'm going to do both pieces at once so we can keep this somewhat symmetrical, and then I can maybe even attach that belly to, or you know what? We'll figure it out. There's no real wrong way to do this, but there's a better way order to doing things sometimes. But since this is the first time putting this pattern together, that's part of what you figure out by just doing it. When I'm done, I'll be like, oh yeah, I should have totally done this instead. But I just file that away for next time I do it. I usually forget anyway. Okay. Ooh yeah, look at that. Yeah, if you guys aren't using contact cement, you guys are really missing out. It just goes together so smoothly, and it's so much lighter than hot glue as well. Nothing wrong with hot glue. Well, actually, there's a lot wrong with hot glue, but I don't judge you for using it. Okay, that edge is glued. Here we go. Okay. Check how we're doing here on Facebook, too. Good. We glue the backs of this from there to there. Okay, good. What am I building? We're working on a dragon. You may have seen some videos and pictures I've been posting in the last week or so on my Instagram feed. This is a continuation of that project. So, it's coming along quite nicely. After today, this will be the true test to see if my scale is correct as far as I'm concerned, I'm still kind of prototyping, but it's a working prototype. If something's off, I'll just have to put this in my, prototype pile, and then, just scale down the pattern and, um, uh, cut it out again and glue it together. But after you do it once, it makes it go by much faster, and it's not that bad. And I highly recommend doing that type of a process too. And if something is wrong, don't just try to fix it unless it's something that you can fix. Just start again. It's faster, so much faster. And this body, I could totally use this for another character in the future. So you'll be surprised what you can reuse and recycle for other projects. Especially if I'm building something for myself, I tend to be less particular in my design, or design things around prototypes bodies that I have. So. Okay. Whoops, I went too far down the tail. That's okay. Let it go too far, then not. Oh, where's my other half? Where's it? Oh, I already glued it. Look at that. Okay, so let me just hit this with the heat gun. It's going to start getting interesting very soon. I can already glue this part together. That'll start curving that body out a bit. Okay. Get this one. Now this is going to be some fancy glue in here. Okay. So you guys can see this. This is why the notches are so important, to make sure you get things pulling in the right directions. I don't want things to glue too early. Any questions yet? What's the name of my heat gun? This is the Milwaukee heat gun. Highly recommend it. All my tools are Milwaukee, and it's very handy to commit to one system. So that way, like if my drill runs out of battery, I can just grab the battery from my heat gun. It's really handy to have all your tools be the same battery type and brand. Because growing up, I think my dad always had different, his drill would be one battery, his cutter would be another battery. Half of them were, and there's nothing wrong with using wired tools, but once you go wireless, oh my gosh, man, there's nothing quite like it, man. Cordless, I should say, cordless tools. All my real tools are cordless, and my corded ones I have kind of permanently set up in my basement, so I can go work on stuff anywhere. Go on location for stuff. It helped a lot when I was building those Audrey 2 puppets. So look at that. See how that pushes that out like that? That's from the pattern design. Pretty neat, huh? It's all in patterning to have this stuff bending and stuff in different ways. Alrighty, now I have this other tail piece. I'm trying to remember, so this must go, oh yeah, that goes right there. You can see how that goes on right there, and this end connects into that body nicely. So I guess I have to do this tail part next, which is going to be really interesting. So I have the one for this side, and here's the one for this side. Does that go all the way to the... I can't remember. Yeah, I'm probably not going to end up using the tip of this tail. I'll probably cut off the tip of the tail and recarve it, because once you have the thickness of the foam and the patterning, it just can make some things wonky. Unless you cut your edges at certain angles, but sometimes it's hard to tell where you do and don't need to do that with certain projects. Actually, maybe I could just do that too. Yeah, I could go back and cut that quick. Yeah, let me... You can tell that right there I'm going to need a little more space. That's pretty good, I think. That'll do. Do this one. Okay, and I'll also cut down. Whoa, okay. These tails a little bit. Where they connect. Slight bevel. Still might not be perfect for the thickness of the tail, but it'll definitely be closer. And it'll look good. It'll look nice. So I'm gonna make sure I get my edges right. Okay. Let me get this down. Okay. Gluing this bad boy up. There we go. Perfect. Alright. Let's start gluing this thing together. Still a little bit tacky, but it'll be a little bit more forgiving if I, since I'm testing this pattern out. Oh yeah, look at that. That's pushing it up more. I like that. Getting right into there. Oh, come on, man. It's perfect. A little too wet there, though. Alrighty. So now we've got that, like that. Love the way these pieces interact with each other. Just making this all, you know, twist into different ways. So we get that together solidly. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Now I think I'll attach these together like that. Now I kind of skipped out on the upper part of the neck because I'm 99% sure that neck's going to be chopped anyway and replaced with a softer foam. But either way, I'm going to put it together as is for now because I can always make those decisions later and just chop stuff off. So I can always glue things back on too, but it's, you know, it's nice not to have you know, have it as close to right the first time. So. Having some fancy stuff going on. Okay. There and there. Some of these bubbles here. Someone asked if I sell patterns. On my website, I have a whole bunch of patterns completely free with tutorials on how they go together. I have a couple for sale too. I definitely recommend starting off with the free ones before you consider buying anything at all. Just because it's, you know, you'll learn if you really have the chops for doing this in a safe way. So, if you can't put together the free one, then you're definitely not going to be able to put together one of the paid ones. Okay. Facebook guys, how's the stream looking? Getting a notification that something might be lagging. And how's Instagram world? Still going strong? Okay. Look at that. Okay. Why don't we glue up the back of this thing too? That'll be. Look at that. That's a very. Looks almost like some kind of weird elephant pattern, doesn't it? That's kind of cool. Let me switch for the guys on Facebook. Yeah. Looks like some kind of unusual elephant. A Dumbo pattern. Look at that. Works for both things. Make a nice little trunk. How you like that, huh? These are the things, you discover by just building stuff. So I'm going to glue up the back, and then we'll glue in the belly, which is the first thing that we glued together. That's that piece way over here still. And then this is going to be like really close to in shape. I've got the top skull of the head. I've got the neck, which again, I'm pretty sure the neck, I might use the back of the neck to act kind of as a spine so it doesn't need as much support and this puppet can sit up on its own. But I'm 99% sure the front of the neck is going to be gutted so we have more room in there, as well as so it's not too stiff. Many, many, many reasons. There we go, just about done. A little bit more glue here. Oh boy, a little too much glue there. That's never gonna dry. Let me spread it out. Alright. Oh, we're doing great on time. It's 3:20 here in Buffalo, New York. That means my wife gets home in about 50 minutes. So I gotta be done for the day by then either way. At least for a little bit. Might come back on tonight, so. But I got plenty of time. This shouldn't take that long anyway. So I'll have time to get some other stuff done. Okay, so now let me put this together. Yeah, for anyone, maybe a few of you who don't know, my wife is very pregnant now. We're going to be having our daughter Dune very shortly. Technically the due date is August 14th, but oh my gosh, she's ready to pop. I don't know. She keeps saying she thinks it's coming sooner. So who knows at this point. It's our first, so still seeing how her body reacts to all this. Okay. Oh yeah. This is looking good. What a chubby tail this is. Definitely going to be probably cutting that tail off and probably sculpting something. Actually, well, yeah. Okay. Look at that. The side of a dragon. Now, what does it look like now? Could be like some sort of an anteater thing. Or some weird Pokemon if you do it upside down. That's interesting, huh? Yeah, we'll have to press a lot of this out. Got a little bit of a lump there, but I can fix that easy. Or like a penguin, maybe? Some kind of a weird penguin? Okay. No, it's not. It's a dragon. Don't worry, guys. It's going to be a dragon. That's the tail. And here comes the belly. Okay. Wow. Yeah, let me just glue on this belly. Okay. Oh, yeah. We recorded a really awesome podcast that's going to be coming out next week with Louise Gold, who, oh my gosh, what an awesome person and career she's had and continues to have. Don't miss that. Soon after that, I think we have the episode with James Voital, who's an excellent puppeteer, puppet builder as well. Very excited about that conversation. And we got some other stuff coming down the pike. Cam's got a schedule till February, so which is nice having it lined up. But then sometimes I like to do stuff on the fly, which we still get to do sometimes, and there's a last minute cancellation. But what's confused to what part of the body I'm looking at? Well, this is my head. So if you're confused about which part of the body you're looking at, okay. So this is the belly. I just glued the belly. And this is where the belly gets attached to, the back, and the tail. So. See, Wesley's on Facebook commenting. Hello, Wesley. Nice to see you, bud. Thanks for stopping in. Again, for people who are on Instagram, this is also live on Facebook in our private group, though, not on the main page. This is in the Krutinger Puppet Tutorial Q&A Facebook group. And actually, there I have a couple cameras, so you have multiple angles, the front-facing and down-facing camera. I've streamed pretty much this entire process so far in patterning and digitally patterning it in that group. Though I did do one stream on my page because I used a new encoder and it wouldn't let me go to the group, but now I figured out how to go to the group, so we're back in business in the group. So, all right, there we go. We're glued up there. Got the air vent on. Oh yeah, let's dry this out a little faster. What makes the heat gun kind of nice to use is sometimes when you're gluing the longer seams like this, this whole piece that I glued first is much drier than this piece because I glued this like a minute or two ago. So it just has more time to dry. So that's one really handy thing about using a heat gun or hair dryer is that I can get it to the same dryness is the longer piece that I glued before. I'm just using this to get little lumps of glue that I have there. You know, some people like to use the foam itself as an applicator. I've never really found much success for that, and I have trouble dipping it. I don't like pouring like a little pile. It just, in the long term, seems a little wasteful. If I had to do like some extreme precision gluing for something that's going to be like just painted, then I do. But for this, I like doing this. So. Did I record it? If you're talking about the other videos, yes, I did. So they're in that group. It's Krutinger Puppet Tutorial Q&A group, not page, group. They kind of have a similar name, so I think some people get confused. All right, now let's attach these pieces. This is kind of funny, just like this too, though. Look, it's almost like a big mouth. Okay, let me just make sure I line up these darts before I line up anything else. Okay. Okay, line up the darts on that side. Let me line up these darts over here. Okay, make sure we're lined up down here. Good, good, good. Good there. Good there. Now, this is going to be eased in. If I hear those dogs in the background, I think we're getting a package. Okay. Okay. And there we have our body put together. Wow, it's a bit larger than I expected. I may wow, I'm so glad that I shrunk it down to a smaller size. But I should have probably shrunk it down just a hair more. I'm going to use this as a working pattern for now and do check some proportions, but there's a good chance I may have to build it again, because or I could just ask my buddy what he thinks. But either way, we're not done yet. I have to still do the upper part of the head and the neck. So let me get these pieces out. They are right here. So there's the head, the neck, 3 to 3, 2 to 2. There's the beak. Okay, let me make sure I get this goes on this side. This is on that side. Top of the head. 2, 3. Okay, missing the. There's the beak. 2. There we go. Okay. So let me figure out how this goes together. I'm trying to remember. I made this pattern like a week or two ago. Got the notches there, so I know this is the top of the head, so I don't have to worry about this piece. Okay, so I see this. Okay. Interesting. So this must go to here. Based on where those notches are. I have my layout here. Yep, okay, so I just had that marked on the wrong side. That's fine. Which goes to this. So I must have flipped that around, which goes to that. All right, I am in business. There's the original pattern for those of you wondering what I'm looking at from that angle. Okay. Let me transfer those registration marks. I wonder how that got flipped. Must have done it in the computer. This should go together pretty quickly, though. This is the neck, the upper neck, which would be attached to it. Okay. It's going to go through glue all these pieces. And then I'll put the front there too. Why not? Switch to the top view for you guys on Facebook. Okay, so let's start. Oops, that side's wet still. Gluing this together. It's still pretty wet there. Alright. Okay, any questions? What kind of foam and material am I using? Hello from Argentina, too. I'm using L200. It's a very good foam to use if you need something very structural, especially if it's going to be bigger. Comparable foams are like an EVA foam, commonly used as well. These are also good for a lot of cosplay people might be familiar with these types of foam. They're good for making all kinds of shapes and armor and helmets and things like that. Anything that needs its own like structural body type thing. I use this. I'm very lucky that in Buffalo we have a local vendor that, rather not a vendor, a factory that makes this foam in-house. So I can just call them up and they can make some, cut it from the bun, and I can go pick it up in any thickness I want. It all pretty reasonably priced too. I always try to order it in bulk though, so I only make like one order every 2 years or so, unless I have a very specific big project. For at least like for hand puppets that have stuff on stock, that's what I do. I order like once every 2 years. But again, when I had the Audrey 2 build, I had to do a separate order for that. So. How long? They love my cordless heat gun. How long does it last between charges? I don't ever have to worry about that because I've committed to the Milwaukee brand, and I have like 30 of their tools, and many of them I have tons of batteries. So if this runs out, I just take it off, swap it with the one for my drill, put it on the charger. I've never had to really run out because I have multiple batteries. It also depends on which battery you have. Right now I have the 9 amp hour on. This is one of the bigger batteries, so they just came out with some bigger ones. I've never had one die on me. So, and if it's low after a project, I just plug it in, and it's ready for the next day. So, not very helpful for you. Again, it depends on which size battery you have. So, they all come with different batteries. The unit itself does not hold its own power. So, oh, why did I only go part way in that? I gotta glue the rest of this. I know why I did, but I should have glued it anyway. I don't know if any other brands have a cordless heat gun, though. They might. DeWalt, I'm not sure that they do. What I really want is for Milwaukee to come out with a cordless hot glue gun. Now, for anyone who knows me well, they know how much I hate hot glue, and I almost never use hot glue. But once in a while, it's the right glue for the project. It's not good to use it for anything that needs to be lasting for a very long time. But again, sometimes you're just doing a stage thing, or maybe you're behind the scenes in a show, and you just need to glue something quick in between scenes or takes. And a cordless hot glue gun, I think Ryobi makes one, but again, I've committed to this system. So I'm waiting for Milwaukee to come out with theirs. And they will. I know they will, but they didn't announce it in their next. Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! This neck is so thick. This neck is so thick. It is way too thick for this character. Yeah, I'm going to be making this again. Look at that! It looks like a foot or a boot cover or spats. You know what spats are? Oh my gosh, this guy is humongous. I kind of love it. I do kind of love it though. Oh my gosh. So oh my gosh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. Since this is not going to end up being probably the final product, I'm going to make it into my own design of a dragon or dinosaur. I might change it to a dinosaur. And then I'm going to display it in my classroom. Tell the kids that I caught it. Stuffed it. You know, terrifying children. That's something we all love to do, right? Let me glue up the top of the head. So one thing that's nice though, and why you might wonder, like, if you're going to be redoing this, why are you still working on it if you know it's wrong? So I can get it. It'll help me make the final one even better for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm now used to gluing these pattern pieces together, and I know the order that I'll do it in next time. That I'll change for. Oh, I shouldn't be gluing that edge. That's what happens when you talk while you're working. I'll be gluing. So what I did was I did a small little sculpture of this, and then I did the math to find out how big I should make it. But again, like I mentioned before, when you're scaling things up in foam, you have to make sure you compensate for the thickness of the foam, and it acts differently for different curves. Okay, this curve, for flat, it's the center of the foam is where the paper thin line is. But when things curve, depending on its curved convex or concave, that line moves. Okay, so sometimes when you're doing your sculpture that you're going to make a pattern from, you have to exaggerate some features. Okay, depending on what you're sculpting, though, it might not be a big deal, and sometimes will sculpt it normally and do a more additive approach or subtractive for some hyper details. But so anyway, when I go to when this is finished, now I have an exact representation of what the scale is. So I know I did from my sculpture. This is What percentage did I blow it up to? Oh, that's right. Okay, so I blew it up to I think like 450%. And when I took that file to Kinko's, so this is going to mess up my math stuff. 450%, I scaled it up, but then I realized that was too big, so I had them print that 450% file at 90% of that 450%. So I just know I can take that file and by measuring this, I can get the exact size that I need, because I was kind of estimating. I hope anything I just said makes sense. I was estimating an educated estimate based on the math I was doing. I thought I was compensating for the thickness of the foam, but I wasn't clearly compensating enough for it. And it's hard to tell, because these shapes all do different things. If it was just a box or a sphere, it'd be no problem. But I got a lot of goofy shapes coming together. And one thing I will say, this foam piece that I have, unfortunately, is not perfectly cut. I think there's a couple of parts where it's a little bit thicker than other parts, which also can make things a little wobbly. So, either way, this is the prototype. So, let me do these darts here. Oh my gosh, that's a weird question. How many live hand puppets have I made recently? I don't know. I post everything that I make, so I don't think I've made a live hand puppet in too recently. Just check my Instagram feed. It shows all my projects. All my public projects, at least. Okay. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, so this is the bottom. That's the top. Okay. So it goes like that. Good. Good to know. So I need to put some glue here. Oh, did we freeze on Facebook? Oh, man. Yeah, someone just asked if my contact cement puts off some potent fumes, and yes, it does. You definitely want to be in a well-ventilated area. I have my ventilation system running now, so I'm totally fine here. The best thing I would do is also, you can use a respirator, and you have to use one, especially if you have no ventilation. And also, if you can, depending on where you are, you can go outside and do it, and that'll be very helpful, especially if there's a light breeze. We ended our Instagram. Let me go live again. Okay, we're back on Instagram. I think it timed out. But is this Facebook Live one? Is that still going, or is it frozen? It looks frozen to me. Oh, I'm good. Someone says I'm good. It's showing me that it's frozen, so good to know. Hello back, people from Instagram. I think that live stream timed out, which is a sign that I gotta go faster, I think. We're continuing with our dragon. It's coming together. It's turning out way too big, so I'm going to have to redo it, but I'm going to finish it up anyway, so there's no surprises for when I'm doing it, and I can rescale it easily for those of you who are getting caught up with the conversation. Okay. Oh, looks like a helmet. Like a little bonnet. Okay, like that. Okay, sorry. So that's the back of the head here. Let me put this front face thing on. Perfect, perfect. So everything's lining up famously. Yeah, you can see the thickness of the foam there. See how much higher this one is than that one? Yeah, unfortunately that's not even, so I'll make sure when I scale this down, I make sure I pick a slice that's a little bit more even. It just naturally happens, because they use a giant bandsaw to cut these, and sometimes there's a little bit of slack in the center. Or maybe it's, maybe they hadn't changed the blade in a while, and things just get stretched out, so there's tons of factors. And in smaller projects, it doesn't tend to make much of a difference at all. Or rather, I should say that it's easier to notice if you have smaller pieces. But when you have one big piece, sometimes it's harder to notice until you're putting things together. It's sometimes such a gradual change. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, sorry. I just got a message from somebody that's... Oh my gosh. You try to help people out, You try to help people out, and then, people can do whatever they want. But sometimes they do stuff to hurt themselves. Not like physically, nothing to worry about. I mean, something that's not giving them the leg up that they're trying to get. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're doing exactly what I told you not to do, and you're not going to be happy with the results. Ah! Sorry, I'm vague booking. Okay. Lining up those darts. Looking good, looking good. For those of you who have been hanging in with us since the beginning, when we trace and cut this is where that little bevel is coming in handy. So it doesn't make it way too spherical, because this is not necessarily a spherical piece. So it makes it a little bit flatter in the front, which will be making it easier to mount the eyes in a way that'll give them good eye focus, which is the most important aspect of puppet building, really. And now we can put this little beak thing on. Look at that. It's gonna go on this. Ooh, look at nice, huh? This shape is great though, isn't it? Oh my gosh. It's even better than I could see a little bit of a harsh angle right here that I'm gonna soften up to change that in the pattern. I don't know how that came out so harsh. Because I know it's not a cutting error, it's a definitely in the pattern. Oh my god, I'm going to love messaging the picture of this to Dan to show him how huge it is. He's going to love it, but I know it's going to be too big. Okay. Get that on there. Now all I really have to do is attach, well, I have to glue this top of the head to the neck, and then I'm going to glue the neck to the body, and it's probably going to be so big that it'll be out of frame, but, you know, what can you do? Actually, let me switch the cameras for Facebook people. Not too much need for the down-facing anymore. Yeah, because again, people on Instagram, if you're just joining us, we are live in the Facebook group, Krutinger Puppets Tutorial Q&A. Not the Facebook page, the Facebook group, it's different. And there it's a little fancier of a setup. They have a top and bottom angle, or a front-facing angle and a down-facing angle, visible at all times, which is kind of handy. And also, if I forget to switch, they can always see the other camera, which is super handy. Oh, yes, look at that. Oh, going together famously. Oh, gosh. This is humongous. Look at that. Doesn't that look good, though? Oh, my gosh. Definitely, you know, I'd cut off the bottom part and replace that with a softer foam and make a hinge and stuff. But just for, again, I wanted to kind of see how the whole thing looks together since I kind of expected this to be a prototype. But hope for it not to. Look at that. It's off camera. It's so big. Oh my gosh. It's not even covered yet. Look how big it is. Actually, you know what? It's not quite as oversized as I thought it was, which is good. Not quite as oversized as I expected it to be. But it's still pretty big. Really big. Should I even glue this? I shouldn't even bother gluing this, because like if this was a... Well, you know what? Maybe it's not too big. It's a real tough call. Real tough call. Yeah. Hard to say. Let me just trim like a... I'm afraid to trim a little bit too, actually. But Yeah, I left a little space there, so this doesn't line up perfectly because I added a little bit to one side and not the other side because I wasn't expecting to and wasn't planning on gluing this to here necessarily. I knew this would have to be a softer foam that would be replaced anyway, so it's not stiff, so I can just still do some stuff. But I think I do want to glue the back of the neck so it can kind of have some more shape to it. You can see it's spilling over a little bit. I think I will trim like a 1/2 inch around the bottom. Let me draw it first. That should, I think I only added a 1/2 inch. There we go. So it should be, I may have to take up a little bit more. See if that's lining up now. Better. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to glue the back seam so it can stay up. Because again, either way, that's all going to be gutted, whether or not I use it. So. Back seam there. There we go. Well, we've got our dragon. Oh my gosh, look how big he is. Let me angle this camera just a little bit so you guys can see better. Okay. Wow, how's that? Oh my gosh, he's humongous. Oh yeah, that's gonna be. What do you think? Let me know. Don't comment in this live stream on Instagram. On Facebook, you can comment in the live stream. If you think that this is too big, or if you think I should shrink it down a little bit, I think I gotta shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to post a video on Instagram, or a picture of this on Instagram. And if you're watching on Instagram, comment there whether you think I should make it bigger or smaller. All right, I will see you guys soon. Adios on Instagram. How do I end it? Oh, there we go. End. And for you guys on Facebook, just still going a little bit. Let me switch the camera so you can see. Look how big it is. It doesn't even fit on the table this way. Did that switch? You should be switching. If it didn't do it yet. It's lagging. Yeah, it doesn't even fit. Look at that. It's so huge. Oh my gosh. But anyway, yeah, that is where we are right now. Oh my gosh, it's so big. It's too big. Let me actually measure it. Thing is, oh my gosh, It is 30 inches tall. Oh my gosh. That is, oh yeah, because especially he's going to have legs hanging down. And yeah, this is too big. Wow, okay. It's too big, way too big. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more math. Rescale this, rescale it, and see what happens. So, thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I will see you all shortly. Yeah. Yeah, let me know what you think I should do with this guy, too. If I should put him in my classroom.